It's the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, July 3rd, 2014. Thanks for calling. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath. Let's go to California and talk to Robert. Hey, Robert, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
Hello, Robert. What's going on?
I'm calling because I wanted to ask you about my dad and myself. My dad has a whole bunch of different problems. He has like a host, but the major ones he has right now are he's on peritoneal dialysis, so he has kidney failure. He's had a quadruple bypass, so he has heart failure. He's currently blind, both eyes. For both, he has diabetic retinopathy, cataract, and on the right eye, after having cataract surgery, he got his retina detached. Great. He also has diabetes, high blood pressure, has an abscess or infection in the prostate, has also stomach problems with acid reflux, and he has either gastritis or ulcer. That's what the doctor says.
That's great, isn't it? How old is your father, man?
59.
Yeah, 59. I mean, I'm 56. I can't imagine having that many problems. So what's his position and what's his attitude and what's his, where is he at vis-a-vis wanting to do something outside of conventional medicine?
Yes, he's to be totally honest, we've tried a lot of different alternative, things, and he's even tried to go vegan, but he had a very hard time with that, including myself.
Well, if he'd have gone vegan, he would have died. I mean, that's just absolutely, positively the wrong thing. And this statement that you just made underlines a sobering truth, because the medical industry, in 99.9% of all of the research, medical research that's happened in this country for the last 80 years, has been monopolized by the MDs. There are only a handful of holistic physicians, alternative quote-unquote physicians, that actually have a clue and that actually have, done research and have clinical experience that lets them know how to actually get on the other side of things like this. And the problem here in the country is that probably, by my estimation, there are less than 300 physicians in the entire world right now, who actually have a clue as to what people can do to really and truly support and promote their body's ability to fix themselves. So a lot of people who are frustrated with conventional medicine will dabble with alternative medicine and get lousy results because there aren't that many alternative physicians in the world who have a clue. And the reason for that is because the medical market has been completely dominated by the MDs for so long that all of us alternative guys are left to our own devices. Now, I've been doing this for 25 years clinically, and I've been following Dr. Wallach for the last 4 years now, 4.5, I think. And Dr. Wallach's therapeutics are more effective than anything I've ever seen. And the reason that Dr. Wallach's therapeutics are so effective is because from 1970 to 82, Wallach was in charge of $25 million of federally funded research, did 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries. It was a gargantuan amount of work, the result of which is a book that's now in the Smithsonian Institution, and that's why Dr. Wallach's therapeutics are so effective, because Dr. Wallach did the research, and then he did clinical trials. And no other holistic physician comes even close to Dr. Wallach's research track record. So our understanding of the pathogenesis of clogged arteries and kidney failure is the same thing. So from our point of view, the same process that causes arteries in the heart to clog up is the same process that causes the kidneys to go south. It's the same thing. It's just happening in two different parts of the body. It's oxidative damage to blood vessels. Oxidative damage is caused by free radicals, and free radicals are present in the food, and they're present in the environment. So your father, you, me, and everybody else listening to this broadcast, quite frankly, people who are not listening to this broadcast, everybody needs to stop eating food that introduces free radicals into the body. The biggest source of free radical introduction into the body is fried food. So there are 10 foods your dad needs to stop eating, you need to stop eating, I need to stop eating. You can get that list for free at my website, drglidden.com. You have to clean up his diet, have him immediately stop those 10 foods, because unless he stops eating those foods, the chance of the medical nutrition program getting leverage to help his body recover to the ability that it's able to recover are going to be limited. You know, you can't be putting out a fire on one end of the house and lighting fires at the other end of the house. It isn't going to work. So you have to clean the diet up, number one. Number two, how much does your dad weigh?
He was 200 pounds.
All right. So what I would do for the first 90 days is 2 original formula anti-aging healthy start packs. 2 original formula anti-aging healthy start packs. 2 original formula anti-aging healthy start packs. 2 bottles of something called Sweeties, SWEET-EZ like zebra E, Sweeties. 2 bottles of Sweeties. 4 bottles of selenium. That's S like Sam, E, L like Larry, E, N like Nancy, IUM. 4 bottles of selenium and 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily capsules a month. That's 1 Ultimate Daily, 4 selenium, 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, and 2 bottles of selenium a month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, this is a holistic health recovery program, so when he's on board with this, he wants to look to see, you know, what happens to the blood pressure, what happens to the blood sugars, what happens to the blood numbers when he goes in for dialysis, because they track that stuff. But also he wants to pay attention to how he feels, right? His mood, his energy, his sleep, and things like that. So we expect to see a brightening up across the board, which is then followed by objective improvement with blood pressure numbers getting better, blood sugar numbers getting better, and dialysis numbers getting better. It might take him a year to get enough traction on this program to actually produce noticeable results. It might take him 4 weeks. I mean, I've had patients that have had high blood pressure for 30 years, and they get on board with the medical nutrition program, and in 2 weeks their blood pressure normalizes. I've seen blood sugars normalize in 3 days. So, you know, I have no idea how long this is going to take. Nobody does, and I have no idea how far back your father's body is going to be able to bounce. But I do know that he needs medical nutrition, and I know his body's going to suck it up. Like pouring fertilizer on an old wilted plant. It's going to suck it up, it's going to utilize it, and it's going to love it. So that's what I would do for him. Now, what about you?
Well, first of all, I'm overly obese. I weigh 270 pounds.
How tall are you?
5'6".
All right. How'd you hear about me, by the way?
My aunt, she's in Arkansas, and maybe about 2 weeks ago, I've been looking at your YouTube videos and also Dr. Wallach's.
Oh, great. Have you seen the video that I did on weight loss or weight gain?
No, I've been more concentrated on my dad, but I decided.
Yeah, okay. So let me tell it to you straight. The only thing, whenever I have a conversation with anybody and weight is an issue, I can tell in the back of the person's mind that they feel guilty about it, that they feel sheepish about it, that they think it's their fault. It's not your fault. Your weight gain has nothing to do with you. It is not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. It's your doctor's job to keep you healthy. Your doctor has dropped the ball. You're not lazy. You don't have a stomach that's too big. It's not for lack of exercise. It's not because you have the fat gene. It's not because you have a bad gene. It's because you have a bad doctor. It's not your fault. It's your physician's fault. The only thing that makes people gain weight is we eat too many calories. The only reason we eat too many calories is because our bodies are starving for vitamins and nutrients. Your body knows that it's starving for nutrients, and so your body forces you to eat. So you'll go to Olive Garden, you'll eat a gigantic plate of food that doesn't have any vitamins or minerals in it, and then 2 hours later you're starving again, and you want to shoot yourself in the head because you think, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. You got to have a psychological problem or something. It's not. Your body is nutritionally starved, period. And so when you give your body the nutrients that it needs in good recipes, you fill your body's nutritional tank up, all of a sudden your food cravings diminish greatly. And this is the key to weight loss. You have to give your body the nutrients that it needs appropriate for your body weight. You have to stop eating food that causes inflammation. And then you have to dial in 1,200 calories a day. But eating 1,200 calories a day with a nutritionally deficient body is impossible. Eating 1,200 calories a day with a nutritionally satisfied body is easier than falling off a potato truck. So, I mean, in addition to the weight gain, are there any other health issues that you're struggling with?
The biggest one, and I was listening to a rerun, and I only caught the last part, is that like the biggest problem I have is that I can taste what I smell. Everybody says that I'm crazy or that.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, I understand exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. All right, but you don't have heartburn, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have anxiety and panic attacks. You're good.
Well, I do have some acid reflux.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. So here's what I would recommend you do.
Okay.
For the next 90 days in order to get on the other side of this. Okay. You have to stop the 10 bad foods also. Supplements. For supplements, I would do 2 healthy digestion packs. 2 healthy digestion pack, original formula. 2 healthy digestion packs, original formula. And 1 bottle of Beyond OsteoFX. 1 bottle of Beyond OsteoFX. 2 healthy digestion packs, original formulas. 1 Beyond OsteoFX. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Salt your food so that it tastes good. Give me a call in about 3 weeks. And, oh, by the way, get with the person who turned you on to Youngevity to get the Youngevity supplements. That's how we roll. We support the downline and the upline. Get her done. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition of Fire Your MD now. And just a second here, I have to pull up my... I had a little technical glitch right now. This Thursday night, if you are a Dr. Glidden Insider, we're going to be doing a presentation on what makes Youngevity different, why Youngevity's nutritional supplements are better than most of the nutritional supplements you can get over the counter. That's this Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Time for Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests exclusively. To become a Dr. Glidden Insider, go to drglidden.com. Click on the Insider button for details. It will be, in fact, the best $20 a month you have ever spent. Cancel at any time. Paulette from Iowa is up next. Hey, Paulette, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Oh, no. Thank you for taking my phone call. You are not going to believe how this dovetails with what you've been talking about.
Well, all right. So I'm sitting down, so lay it on me.
Yeah, man, I am just, really jazzed. My husband was diagnosed with a fever of unknown origin. He'd had it from 1979 until 2000, at which time in 2000, this fever of unknown origin, which we had been to see a well-known medical teaching facility in the United States twice, 96 and 2000, with 2 different diagnoses. The first one was a smoldering T-cell lymphoma.
Wow.
So, you hold your breath for years. And then in 2000, they told me it was Still's disease. I could not get home fast enough to look what Still's disease was on the Internet, and they were full of crap at that time. So got him into a rheumatologist. He had been put on Vioxx or Celebrex, one of the 2 or both. And so by December, he was declining so fast. I knew that he was dying. He knew he was dying. Christmas night, we sat down, had a glass of wine, and he said, I didn't think I'd be here today. And I said, I didn't either. And then got him into a rheumatologist who put him on prednisone. Ta-da! He's been on prednisone since 2000. And They put him on injectable methotrexate.
Oh, my God.
And finally, after about 2 years of that, he said, there is no way I'm doing this anymore. And so he's been on azathioprine. I have talked the MD into getting him off of the Fosamax, and I talked him into getting him off of all kinds of things, but we're still on azathioprine, 50 milligrams 3 times a day.
And still no diagnosis.
Still no diagnosis, except they said, oh, he's got vasculitis. And when I was at the unnamed clinic, the rheumatologist there that I made talk to me, all but put his hand on my head and said, oh, he doesn't have vasculitis. And then, bang, we went to the rheumatologist. He had sores on his legs, sent him to the dermatologist, and our dermatologist called me one night as we were putting up the Christmas tree to say, he has vasculitis, get him to, a kidney specialist. But they are saying his vasculitis is systemic, but you only live 5 years. So anyway,
well, you know what,
how do I get him off of this prednisone? Because we can't get lower than 2.5.
No, well, that's not the best question you can ask. You know what the best question you can ask is? What's the best question that you can ask?
What is the origin of this fever of unknown?
Correct, exactly correct. I mean, what the heck is going on in his body that makes him have fevers all the time, that is making his circulatory system become inflamed? And
right.
it's come like, it's like a wildfire now that's out of control, right? The whole county is in flames.
Well, you know what? The rheumatologist, we have not had a fever of unknown origin since he's been on that stuff.
Well, you wouldn't, but still, the underlying inflammatory process is whittling away at his health, right? Just like the mold seeping in behind the paint, right?
Right. Now, I should say that in 2002, I think, I put him on 1,200 milligrams of pure colostrum. He takes it 4 times a day.
Wow. Where the heck did you get that? Is that bovine colostrum?
Yes, sir, from New Zealand.
Yeah, you got to love that. That was a smart thing to do.
Why can't longevity get that?
Well, they can. You give us time, they can. But, for something like this, bovine colostrum would be, at best, an extra add-on. That wouldn't be what would spring to my mind initially in order to support and promote his body's ability to put out the fires of inflammation. Look, he doesn't have vasculitis because he has blood vessels, right? He doesn't have a fever of unknown origin because he has an immune system. There's something going on here in his system. You stick with me, Paulette, and we'll dial this in on the other side of the break. I appreciate your call. More to come, folks. Don't even think about touching that dial. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden here. A lot of chat going on in the chat room. By the way, if you're watching the live stream, you have access to a chat room. One of the questions in the chat room was, what's the deal with hard-boiled eggs? Why don't we recommend hard-boiled eggs? Well, if you cook an egg too much, if you hard-boil it too much, the yellow yolk turns gray or green or develops a gray or a green ring around it, which is a direct visual indication that the cholesterol in the yolk has been degraded and is no longer useful. So if you can hard-boil an egg so that the yolk is bright yellow, you can eat it and still gain the benefits of the cholesterol. Otherwise, you're only going to get protein from the egg, and we advocate eggs for 2 reasons, protein and cholesterol, and cholesterol, and cholesterol. So soft scrambled in butter, soft boiled or poached is the best way to secure all of the cholesterol from an egg, which is what Paulette from Indiana's husband is going to need to do. So one of the things that prednisone does, right, is it really suppresses the immune system, and it really dampens down the body's own natural corticosteroids, cortisol being the most operative one. Is he still on prednisone, or is he taking an analog of it?
No, we are trying to get down. He's taken 2.5 milligrams 4 times a week and 5 milligrams 3 times a week, and we're coming down off of it very gradually.
Yeah.
I should also tell you that in 1990, he had a bone marrow biopsy that showed that he was making too many T cells.
Well, that would be as a result of the prednisone.
No. This was 10 years before he went on prednisone.
Too many T cells, according to who?
To a bone marrow biopsy.
Why on earth would he have... So why did they want to give him a bone marrow biopsy? Because they were trying to figure out what was causing the fevers?
Right.
Oh.
Right. And see, and I thought that it could be brucellosis because, I've known him for almost all the time that he's been sick.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any titers for brucellosis, and so they keep telling me I'm out of sorts. But I also wonder about a fungal infection.
Well, it can be any number of things here, and this is one of the...
but the too many T cells, what does that tell us?
Well, that tells us that there's an imbalance in the body and that something isn't right in Denmark. And so when there's too many T cells, we look to the bone marrow. And when we look to the bone marrow being dysfunctional, it's usually because of a lack of calcium and a lack of sulfur-bearing molecules. Because that's what the bone marrow needs in order to be healthy. And when the bone marrow doesn't have the stuff it needs to be healthy, it starts to get funky, and the body starts to put inside the bone where the marrow should be connective tissue, because the body doesn't have the raw materials to make bone marrow, and so connective tissue gets laid down inside the bone. And that makes all kinds of funny things happen to red blood cell production and immune cell production. It's like throwing a wrench into a giant complex, gear system. It's going to screw something up. But listen, Paulette, my heart goes out to you here. And also you need to understand there are a number of benefits to the holistic method, okay?
Well, you know what? We did control his fevers of unknown origin. We have used acupuncture. We've done the yin and yang and the hot and cold.
Well, yeah, but he's still in the woods, right?
Well, he's been stable since our MD started.
Only because he's still on the drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But prior to that, we used chiropractic and everything and...
Well, all right, so
everywhere.
All right. Well, you haven't been
holistic first.
Well, all right, good. But this drives my point home. And I don't ever bring this point up on my own because people will think I'm just too full of myself. And so I never bring this point up on my own. But I have to tell you that the problem with holistic medicine in the world is that it's underfunded. Holistic medical schools are underfunded. There's virtually no holistic medical research that's happening because there's no money in that. Nobody wants to fund that type of research. Longevity really is the only company that's doing any research on their products. A couple of other companies do, but really there's nobody doing dyed-in-the-wool, profound, holistic medical research. It just doesn't exist. And because of that, and because of the hostile political climate that holistic physicians find themselves in. I mean, for goodness sake, I've been a licensed physician for 20 years. And the state of Illinois fined me 10 months ago $5,000 because I used the word doctor on my website. And in Illinois, you can't do that unless you're an MD. So we don't have a free medical market in the United States. We don't. And it's a hostile climate for those of us involved in alternative medicine. And because of that, there aren't that many holistic physicians who have a strong background in research. There just aren't. And so you're going to go to holistic physicians and you're going to get mediocre results because that's just the nature of the beast. And every once in a while, you'll strike gold and you'll hit something that really works, right? But this is why I love longevity. Because longevity is based, the therapeutics that we talk about here and the recipes that longevity offers are based on $25 million of federally funded research and over 3 decades of clinical experience by the world's leading expert on medical nutrition, Dr. Joel Wallach. It just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it doesn't. Now, there are holistic physicians in the world who bring a different skill set to play than Dr. Wallach does, and that's all good. But Dr. Wallach's foundation medical nutrition stuff needs to be in place or you're just going to be spinning your wheels.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay.
See, and I came to longevity for the photo stuff. And I am thrilled about, everything. So, okay, I'll shut up.
All right, so how much does your husband weigh?
Well, he's been on prednisone for 15 years. What do you think?
Yeah, over 300?
No, only 265.
Well, all right, so we're up there. Okay, good. So, number one, he has to stop eating food that's pro-inflammatory, right?
Okay.
So do you. So do I. So we've identified 10 foods that are pro-inflammatory. And you can get that list for free on my website, drglidden.com. Just scroll down on the front page until you see the link. It's called Good Food, Bad Food. So you just download that link to your computer and immediately stop eating the 10 bad foods. So he's going to have to go gluten-free.
Hey, he already is, because I am.
Okay, great. So no gluten, no wheat, barley, rye, or oats, no oil in a bottle, no fried food. You can read the list. It'll be easy for you to do, number one. Number two, he has to start salting his food so that it tastes good. And I don't care what type of salt he uses. Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, with iodine, without iodine, table salt, Morton's table salt. I would prefer it if you could find a salt that has iodine added to it.
Okay.
And he needs to salt his food so that it tastes good and not be afraid of salt. His digestive tract needs salt in order to be healthy and properly digest nutrients out of his food. All right? Number three, he needs to eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. Because all of the hormones that the prednisone is bungling and screwing up in his body are made from cholesterol. So he needs to put cholesterol back in his body in large amounts in order to help his system bounce back from, the prednisone stress, right? So he needs a diet that's high in cholesterol. And don't worry, there is no relationship between high cholesterol and heart disease. It does not exist. It does not exist.
This.
What?
He had a cholesterol blood test.
Yeah.
And I was excited to see what it was, and it was only 175. And this is a man that, we eat beef all the time.
Well, look, I want him to eat more because I'd like to see his total cholesterol levels be over 250.
Yeah, and see, it was only 175, so I'm hearing what you're saying.
Okay, so he needs more cholesterol. Now, the easiest way to get cholesterol into the body is the lowly chicken egg, right?
Yeah, and we do eggs once a week at least for dinner.
Well, I want him to do 6 eggs a day.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be hard. You ever
rare meat, chicken with the skin, turkey with the skin, butter, right? Full-fat yogurt, full-fat milk. There's a lot of ways to skin the cholesterol cat.
His wife does all that already. She's pretty into nutrition. Okay.
Well, I don't know what she's into, but he needs to be into a diet that's high in cholesterol, and I don't really care how he gets that. If he can find cholesterol in a pill, I want him to swallow it every day. I don't really care. Okay? All right. Now, the final straw in this drink is the nutritional support that his body needs in order to optimize its structure and function. This is what I was alluding to before, and this is the miracle of the holistic method. Because at this point in time, I don't really care if it's brucellosis. I don't really care if there's a fungal infection. I don't really care if there's an unknown parasitic infection. I don't really care if it's rheumatoid arthritis at this point in time. Because here's what I know. His body right now is attempting to fix itself. His body, in order to fix itself, needs raw materials. The raw materials that his body needs to fix itself are not in the food that he's eating. So we have to give him raw materials, get out of the way, and see how far back his body bounces. 3 months from now, we're going to have a much better understanding of what to do if we need to do anything extracurricular in order to get him over the final hurdle. But oftentimes, just with comprehensive foundation medical nutrition in chronic health conditions like this, it seals the deal, and the body starts firing on all 64 cylinders, and it starts working the way that nature intended it to, and all of a sudden, things start to roll around in his favor instead of against his favor. So, at 300 pounds, in a perfect world, the recommendation would be every month for the next 90 days, 3 months, 3 anti-aging healthy start packs, 3 anti-aging healthy start packs, 4 bottles of selenium, and that's it. 3 anti-aging healthy start packs and 4 bottles of selenium is a perfect place for him to start. Plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Plus go crazy for cholesterol. And once he's been on my program for 4 weeks, after the 4-week period, I want him to consult with a pharmacist or figure it out on his own, because it's his body, how to come off of the prednisone. And now once you start a reduction schedule with any drug, you have to keep riding that horse. You can't flip-flop and go back and forth. So I would advise him, being on this crap for so long, 4 to a 6 month reduction schedule. A 4 to a 6 month reduction schedule. But, he's going to have to kind of figure that out with a pharmacist or just on your own. There's no law against that. Because I'm not licensed in the state of Iowa, I can't tell you how to do that. If you were my patient in a state in which I was licensed to prescribe these drugs, I could tell you how to do that, but I can't. But a pharmacist can, and quite frankly, you can figure it out yourself. But I would do it over the course of 6 months, but I wouldn't start until July, after he's been, fully on board with the longevity stuff. Now,
that's going to be the difficult part. But
why?
I don't know. He's been watching me take it, though. I've been doing the stuff and been doing well. Now, here's my biggest question. I'm wondering if the CM Plus might not help him.
Well, the CM Plus would help, but it would be in a less than efficient manner.
Yeah.
Right? The CM Plus just knocks down inflammation.
Well,
the CM Plus doesn't get to the root cause of the inflammation, and that's what we're all about here. Mm-hmm. We have to give his body nutritional support. Now, if he's a hard sell and he doesn't want to do any of it, then just give him 3 bottles of the plant-derived minerals. 3 bottles of the plant-derived minerals, and have him do 1 ounce 3 times a day for 4 weeks. Welcome back, everybody. Finishing out today's show, June 3rd, 2014. Get prepared for this Thursday's webinar. It's going to be epic. It's going to be a rather detailed exposition of why longevity supplements are superior and why they beat the pants off of anything you can get over the counter or with any other company. That's this Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests exclusively. Not an insider yet? What are you waiting for? Check it out, drglidden.com. Click on the insider button. All the info you need to know is there. We're talking to Danny from Illinois right now. Hey, Danny, are you still with me?
Yes. Good afternoon, Dr. Glidden.
Okay, so what's going on, man?
Okay, I'll be fast because I know the time. So I'm calling for my dad and obviously it's time for father-in-law. My dad is 69 years old, weighs 225 pounds, is 5'4" tall. He has bad knees. His doctor's response is a knee replacement. High blood pressure. That medication is Benazepril HCTZ, as well as a hearing aid.
Great.
I'd like to know what we can do for him, and is that before, with, or after a meal?
All right, so the high blood pressure and the bad knees are 2 arms of the same octopus. The most common cause of a high blood pressure is a lack of calcium and a lack of magnesium in the body. Sometimes high blood pressure is related to a kidney issue, but the majority of the time high blood pressure is caused by not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. It's one of the easiest things in the world to support and promote the structure and function of your circulatory system. When knees or joints or shoulders or, any joint in the body starts to go south, it's getting bad. The joint is getting bad, not because time is going by, not because of a voodoo curse, and not because of a bad joint gene. It's because his joints have run out of the nutrients they need to repair themselves and to maintain their structure and integrity. No different, really, than if your automobile engine runs out of oil. It's going to seize. There's nothing mechanically wrong with the engine. It just ran out of oil, right? So the problem here is that even if he had surgery, the surgery wouldn't address the nutritional deficiencies. So a couple of years after the surgery, then the other knee would start to go bad, or the little post that they put down into his tibia would start to wiggle around because it's continuing to lose, his bones are just continuing to lose their structural integrity. Now, it's interesting, because there are 10 foods that we've discovered that people just shouldn't eat at all, and the reason that they shouldn't eat them is in large part to do because of the inflammatory stuff that they create. There's also a category of food that specifically targets bones and joints, and that's any type of soda pop, anything that has phosphoric acid in it. So anybody that has any type of an arthritic condition shouldn't even look at any type of soda pop whatsoever. They just shouldn't even look at it. I don't know how much Coke or ginger ale or any of that stuff that he drinks, but if he drinks any of it, he's got to stop it because that's just an extra added insult to his body. Okay, so number 1, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number 2, eliminate any type of soda pop that has phosphoric acid in it. Number 3, start to get on board with nutritional supplements to support and promote healthy bones and joints and healthy blood pressure, and that's easy. I would give him 2 original formula healthy bone and joint packs. 2 original formula healthy bone and joint packs. And 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX liquid. 2 original formula healthy bone and joint packs, and 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX liquid. Now, Danny, how'd you hear about this radio show?
My wife Nora called in about a week ago.
All right.
Her boss.
Okay, so the way that this works, right, is we have representatives, longevity representatives all around the world who have gotten on board with us and become longevity distributors and longevity members. And we've taught them the ropes, so to speak. And so you want to go through them to get the nutritional supplements. And if you do it that way, you'll get the stuff at the wholesale price. And the person who turned you on to this ultimately will be able to tell you how to take the stuff, when to take it, and how to do that, because that stuff's all easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. And that's how this works, right? Everybody leans on everybody else in this giant grassroots family. So get back with your wife's boss, and they'll be able to hook you up with this stuff. And give me a shout in about.
And this amount is per month. For the next 90 days?
Yes, correct. It's per month, once a month.
Before or after a meal?
For the next 90 days. The longevity distributor will be able to tell you how to dial that in. All right, Danny, I appreciate the phone call. Thanks again, folks. We're out of time. God willing and the creek don't rise. See you tomorrow.